how to find the right diet for you. 3 points to consider. First thing, think long term. You want a diet that is sustainable. The best diet is a diet you can stick with for the long run. Short-term diets will only get you results for the short term. A few months after that, you're going to be back where you started. So if you want those results to stick, you've got to focus on building healthier eating habits, one by one, little by little, considering your preferences, your lifestyle, your cooking abilities, your environment, your schedule, your personal preferences, you. So no meal plan that's handed to you can take into account all of these things unless you're working together with somebody to build it with them, somebody who has that knowledge, together with you who has the knowledge about yourself. You're the expert of your own body. Only you know what you can stick with in the long term. Think of how many years and years it has taken you to develop your current habits. So building new habits is also going to take you a while. If you think short term and you'd like to live those short term transformations like a model does before a photo shoot, or an actor does before a movie, or an athlete before a competition, then you've got to live that life that they live as well. And remember that even they only achieve those results short term, and then later on fall back into their eating habits, which for the most part tend to be healthy, so that they can have a base to build on. So before you start to consider any of these diets out there, think to yourself, how long can I stick to this? No matter how good it looks or how good it's going to make you look, if it's not something that is sustainable, not something that you're going to be able to keep up. So that yo-yo effect is going to continue to plague you. So if you can relate to that, drop in the comments sustainable, so that I know we're on the same page. You're in it for the long run. You're not looking for a quick fix. You're not looking for a meal plan that's handed to you, because we all know for you to go into your current eating habits, into eating just grilled fish and vegetables, this is not going to happen sustainably overnight. We all know that at the end of the day, the end of the weekend, you're going to break down and binge eat on the things you're used to eating, and that's not going to be the healthier foods that we're talking about. Second point in finding the right diet for you is making sure that that diet is not restrictive. So have you ever heard of a diet that restricts all carbs? Have you ever heard of the diet that tells you that you can't eat after 6 o'clock? If there's any rule, those rules that you can't do this or you can't do that, it's probably not going to work for you in the long term. We as human beings don't work well with restrictions in terms of our emotions, because eating is all about emotions. So what's going to happen is, if you restrict your eating, if you don't eat for a long period of time, you're going to be super hungry, you're going to be hangry, you're not going to have any energy. At the end of the day, you're going to break down and you're going to binge eat. Or by the end of the week, on the weekend, you're just going to go all out and eat all the things that you deprived yourself of. So deprivation always backfires. Don't put yourself in a dietary straitjacket. No restrictions. Think of a continuum of foods that you should eat more of and foods that you should eat less of. No moralizing foods as being good or bad. That is going to generate those feelings of guilt, embarrassment, anxiety, feeling like a failure. So set yourself up for success and slowly build healthier habits one by one. And that is not going to be by restricting your foods. Think of a healthy continuum where you're eating healthier 80% of the time, and then not so healthy about 20% of the time, and then slowly move up to 90% of the times with healthy eating and 10% of the times with not so healthy eating. That is going to set you up for success instead of failure. So if you can relate to this and you've tried diets that restrict you and you couldn't keep up with them, drop in the comment. Restriction. A diet of restriction is not going to last very long, and it's going to make you feel bad. Instead, focus on recognizing your own hunger cues. Focus on eating slowly and mindfully. Focus on portion control. Focus on your emotional triggers to eating and what causes them, and fixing the root of the problem and not the consequences. And leading into the third point of the right diet for you, that is one that includes mostly whole foods. Those foods that are closest to what you find in nature, foods that are fruits, vegetable, whole grain, animal proteins or plant-based proteins, the ones that you can find in nature that then come in lots of packages. Those are the least refined foods. If those are the staples of your diet, they will keep you full for longer. They have more fiber. They have more nutrients. So those nutritionally dense foods will keep you satiated for longer. You won't feel the need to be snacking all the time. You won't be hungry and starving to the point where you break down and binge eat on unhealthier foods. Those unhealthier processed foods are made to be more palatable by artificial sugars, trans fats, and all kinds of chemicals, preservatives, different coloring, different flavors that are highly addictive. So you need to slowly wean yourself off of those and start including little by little of those whole foods. Drop a comment below if you already eat whole foods or if you're still stuck in highly processed foods. And again, think of a continuum of less processed to more processed, and which ones you have to eat less often or more often in order to reach your goals in a sustainable way that is not depriving you of the things that you eat, so you can still have your planned treats and not having any regrets or guilt or shame or disappointment at the end because you overate them because of the deprivation that you put yourself through. So hit like if you enjoyed this video. Drop in the comments what experiences you've had with diets that were either not sustainable, or they were too restrictive, or that were solely whole foods or didn't include enough whole foods. I want to hear from you, and write the word help in the comment if you'd like me to help you figure it out. I'd love to hear your thoughts. See you next time.